Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights Out with Johnny Roberts. Coming up on this edition of the program, we got Matt Kaulig, team owner, and also Harrison Burton, the most recent winner. And boy, what a huge win that was for him, the Wood brothers, and potentially for the future of his racing career. Now, a lot of people have been clamoring a lot over the last couple of weeks about super speedway racing, how this is just too crazy. There's no way a driver has control over their fortunes. I, for one, believe the super speedways have a wonderful place in the world of NASCAR racing. Not only do you have the opportunity for a story like we saw with the Wood brothers and Harrison Burton, but you also, the majority of the time, see one of the usual suspects, like, say, a Denny Hamlin or a Ryan Blaney, win at one of these racetracks. It's more often than not that that happens. When the surprise does happen, though, it grabs the headlines of the racing world and makes people tune in that otherwise may not tune in. Does super speedway racing need a little tweaking? Maybe, maybe not. I feel like right now it's as best as it's ever been, and it provides that opportunity for the Trevor Baynes, the David Regans of the world to get their names known and also get out there in front of the NASCAR racing community. And sometimes to do that, you got to get in front of the pack at Daytona or Talladega. And joining us now, the most recent winner on the Cup Series, Harrison Burton. What a historic win, number 100 for the Wood brothers. Harrison, you've had a little time now to let this sink in, how big it is with NASCAR's oldest team on NASCAR's biggest stage to win. Can you put into words in a short amount of time what this really means to you?
I mean, yes and no. It's super hard to put into words how exciting it is, how much the win means. It's just such a cool experience. It's such a hard thing to accomplish, and then for the stars to align for me to have a chance to win the 100th win for the Wood brothers. All those things just kind of coming together and making this possible is really, really special and something I'll probably never forget.
So, sometimes people talk about these big racetracks and say, well, the win was on a super speedway or what we used to call a plate track. I thought it probably could not be more difficult to be in your situation there to get that victory, trying to hold off one of the best in the business. What were those final few seconds in the race car like before you saw the checkered flag?
Yeah, they were pretty chaotic. Kyle's obviously a very good driver. He's very smart. I think he's well known for being a smart racer, and so that's just kind of the name of the game of those super speedways is trying to kind of think through your moves, try and plan a few moves ahead if you can. And so getting a restart with him, kind of going toe to toe with him was really, really fun. We had a really good push down the backstretch, and just blocking all the way to the line was super nerve-wracking, right? Because he had a couple runs that I was worried about, but once I kind of stalled his momentum, I felt really good about our chances to win. And then crossing the line at Daytona is a feeling kind of like no other, because a lot of the other races you're going to win before you cross the line. Daytona, you never really feel safe until the race is over, so it's just such a different feeling. It's super cool, and it's just so hard to do. There's so many different things that have to fall in your lap, and then once you get the opportunity to take advantage of it is hard as well. So it just kind of adds up to be a super cool win, and just a really historic racetrack. So couldn't draw it up better.
Harrison, I think it speaks volumes about you and your race team when sometimes when people make an announcement that a driver isn't going to be with a team the following season, sometimes people just say, okay, well, that's it. But you guys kept digging. You kept digging as a driver. That's got to be a great feeling to know that you and the people around you did not give up.
Yeah, that's kind of our whole mantra, right? That's what got us through the hardest days of my life, of knowing that I'm not going to be back with the Wood brothers. It's the first time I've ever been fired from a job before. But I love those guys, and I love my race team. And, I feel like they really love and care about me too. It's just how the business goes. And, it was really, really, really special to kind of have the wall is closing in around you, right? And what do you do with it? What do you do with, the opportunity that you do have, even though it's a limited time and it's not guaranteed for next year. we still had the same opportunity this year that we had before, and still had a chance to win the 100th win, and still had a chance to put our name in the record book, and that's what we did. And I kind of got some closure with just the Wood brothers. I didn't feel like I left empty-handed, and I was able to accomplish probably my main goal when I showed up there was to get their 100th win. So that's really, really nice. Obviously, we're in the playoffs now, so we're not done yet. We've got more to fight for now than we had before the race. So just adds to that specialness of the win.
That's the next thing I wanted to ask you about, man. You guys are in the playoffs. You have an opportunity to really make some waves. How much does that change for you guys now in terms of preparation, or does it change at all in terms of how you approach, well, the next week and then the playoffs?
I mean, it changes and it doesn't, right? What changes is probably the intensity. What changes is the pressure on every single race now. It changes, I think, just an alignment of goals, right? Now, all of a sudden, we have a common goal to work for, and our whole team can rally behind that. We believe in each other more than we ever have, and we have this kind of trust now, right, where you're able to build off of something so special and parlay it into hopefully more special things. So, momentum is huge in sports. I'm a huge believer in that. I'm a huge believer in confidence in racing, and we have those things now, so we just have to make the most of it.
So you got an opportunity when you were down there after the burnouts, after the donuts, that you got face to face with your dad, and shortly thereafter your mom, the folks that have been with you. How special was that, Harrison, when you come from such a racing background? What part of the icing on the cake was seeing your parents?
Yeah, that was really cool. It's pretty rare, I feel like, to have an opportunity to do something like that in front of your parents and have them there right in the moment. Have my dad watching the race from the booth. My mom is in the pit box, so they have both kind of like different stories of the day that they experience from their different spots. So that adds to it. On top of that, I didn't expect to see my dad for a while. Whenever I won an Xfinity race, it took him a while to kind of get down from the booth to victory lane, and sometimes I didn't even see him until well after the race. And so I didn't expect him to find a way through the stands, especially at Daytona, where it's such a a big racetrack, and it's a long way from the TV booth to the front straightaway. So I don't know how he got down there so fast, but he did.
Fast.
And it was super fast. And he punched me in the ribs really hard. I don't know why that was his go-to celebration, but I thought he broke a rib, and just experiencing that with both my dad, mom, and fiance who have been there through all of it is really cool.
So, Harrison, you guys now, you are a winner in the Cup Series, and that's something that'll never change. No one can ever take that away. Has that changed anything yet for you in terms of next season? Has the phone rang? Has anything happened from it yet?
Yes and no. I think first off, for me as a person, that's one of my lifelong goals, was to win a Cup Series race, and something I've looked forward to since I was 5 years old, and something I wanted since I was 5. So just that alone is just amazing, really special. Like you said, nobody can ever take it away, which is a cool feeling. And as a racer, you're kind of on guard through a lot of things in life, right? Like, you don't trust that everything's going to last forever. And that's something that will last forever, is just having that win. So that in of itself is special. And then in the circumstances, right, where I'm looking for a job, I don't think it hurts to win. It's definitely not a bad thing. So, just trying to add more and more to my resume. And then, hopefully what we do with these playoffs opportunity that we have is even more influential. So you just never know. That's why you never quit. It's why you always keep fighting, and you never know what your story is going to be. It's just about making it the best you can.
Harrison, how do you guys feel you're set up for the playoffs? I know everybody has to race the same schedule, but sometimes there's certain racetracks that drivers like to go to. There's a certain way maybe that one part of the playoffs, that one stage of the playoffs may cater to a driver better. How do you feel you guys are fixed to advance out of this first round?
I wish Darlington was the first race of the playoffs. That's probably my best racetrack, I feel like. And one of my favorites. So it used to be a perfect schedule, would have been lined up really good. But now, there's a lot of wild cards in the first round. We have, obviously Atlanta is its own beast. It's really tough racetrack, really challenging type of way to race. Watkins Glen, we're going to have some changes to the racetrack itself, which are going to complicate things on top of what sounds like a pretty interesting tire change. And then you go to Bristol, which is, what it was this year, where it was pretty chaotic, pretty all over the place on tire wear. Some guys were better than others on it. Who adjusts, who over adjusts? Is it going to be the same as it was? There's a lot of questions for that one. And then the next round you have Talladega, and that of itself is really, really tough. So, lots of wild card races, and that can make you nervous or it can excite you. But for us, I think it's just about executing with the opportunities that we're given, and make our own opportunities if we can. And, I think we did a good job of that at Daytona. So there's no reason we can't continue to do that at some of these wild card type races. And, the way I see the first round is very gettable. I think there's going to be people that make mistakes and eliminate themselves. And, we just have to find a way to not be one of those race teams.
Harrison, we're all really proud of you here. Congratulations once again on a huge moment in your career, and thank you for providing us race fans one of the most special moments that we'll remember for quite some time. We appreciate you coming by today. Man, keep up the good work and good luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I appreciate that. It's definitely one of the most special moments in my life, so hopefully we can add to it.
And it's time to go lights out with one of our favorite people in NASCAR, that, of course, being Matt Kaulig, owner of Kaulig Racing. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to talk to you. I know you guys got a lot of things yet to figure out, but give us a run-through really quick about what you know now about your 2025 driver lineup.
Well, I mean, as you guys know, we're moving AJ Allmendinger back up to the Cup Series, so we're super excited about that. I mean, everybody asks about that, or what was our decision last year to move AJ down. I mean, we felt that after last season that we need to just a kickstart of get our Xfinity program back to where it was. I mean, we felt like we went backwards a little bit, and so with AJ coming in this year to full-time Xfinity, and we knew SVG was coming to us, so we thought he'd be a pretty good addition, and I think we've figured some things out. I don't think we know we haven't had the kind of season this year that we wanted to have, with the 16 with AJ. But I mean, we've got 3 wins with SVG. Josh Williams is coming along a little bit, so and I think the only thing that we're still trying to figure out. We're pretty much set with what we know what we're going to do, but we've only announced, I think we announced last week that Daniel Dye, is coming up from the Truck Series and is going to run with us full time next year in the Xfinity Series. So I think that's all that we've announced for now. And but we're but we're really excited about it. We're really excited about the direction that Kaulig Racing is going. I mean, John, this is only even right now, this is only our 3rd full-time season in the Cup Series. And, so we think we're on track. I mean, how many years have the Wood brothers been doing this?
Yeah, a long time.
Exactly. And so we think we're doing pretty good.
Well, you guys definitely are. Matt, explain a little bit to people the relationship with you guys and Trackhouse and the Shane Van Gisbergen phenomenon that what it's been. But you guys always had kind of a mutual, I don't say ownership, but a mutual partnership in terms of him as a driver.
Yeah, I mean, we knew coming into this past year, really, bringing SVG over from Australia or New Zealand, they knew that they didn't want to put him full time. I don't know how fair that is, full time in Cup, just right off the rip. I mean, he's never been on an oval. He's got to get used to even being in America. So we had a lot of talks last year about just bringing him on for a season or 2 seasons or whatever it would end up being, and just get him accustomed to NASCAR. And Trackhouse doesn't have an Xfinity team, so us with Chevrolet and just our great relationship with Justin and Trackhouse, it just seemed natural that, all right, we'll take him. We'll take him. We know he's going to be great on the road courses, and we'll get him accustomed to these ovals. And he's been unbelievable in doing a great job. And I think they announced this past weekend, right, that he's going full time up to the Cup Series, which again has been the plan. Everybody knew that was the plan, all along. But like I said, whether it was 1 year or 2 years, but I think everybody's been really, really impressed with Shane, and I've been crazy impressed with him, and obviously Trackhouse is impressed with him enough to throw him up there full time and just race every Sunday with the big boys.
Matt, when we get an opportunity to talk to somebody like you who's had such tremendous success in business and in sports, I always like to ask somebody, is there a simple philosophy you have always gone back to in terms of business and success that you subscribe to?
I think it's all about activity. One, I always say it actually does come down to people. Whatever the business is. I mean, and again, it seems like a cliche. And it seems like a cliche because it's actually true. I mean, if you really just go back to the essence of it, it's whatever business you're in, if you have the right people, I say it like in a football term, it's not necessarily the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. So it matters who's running the plays and who's executing. But really, I do think it's about activity, and you just get after. You have a plan, and you just put your head down, and you try to execute the plan. And if you can get enough people in your organization that are doing their job and that they truly care and are passionate about what they're doing, then you're going to have success. And, unfortunately, if you have people that really aren't into it and they're not looking to just improve and get better, and they're just kind of doing it as a job and just trying to get through life, then that's really the results you're going to get. So, we've always tried to be a young organization that has fun, and then, we can build and get people. I just said a minute ago that this is only our third full-time season in the Cup Series. So we feel like we're an extremely young team. It seems like we've been around for a while, which we have. We've been in the Xfinity, garage for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. I think 9 years. I think this is our 9th year. And we have all these, you can see behind me, we've got all these trophies. I think we've won 27 trophies, in that short 5-year period of time. We never won a race until July of 2019, so we're just over 5 years from having our first trophy. And so we are definitely still in building mode, and we feel that way, and we're passionate about it. And we know we're going to be doing this for a long, long time. And that's how we approach it, and that's how we do it.
Matt, you mentioned a moment ago that you guys felt you almost went a little bit backwards in the Xfinity program, which you guys had so much success in. That just goes to show in the world of racing, or really in the world, anything that's competitive, if you aren't going forward, you are going backwards. How tough is it to stay ahead of the competitive curve these days in something like Cup Series and Xfinity Series racing?
Yeah, it's really tough. These guys are really good. Everybody's good, and everybody's trying to get better. And it's I still can't get used to it, honestly, in NASCAR, where in baseball, I'm minority owner in the Cleveland Guardians, and so when the Guardians are playing, we play against one team. We played yesterday against the Kansas City Royals, and so either the Royals are going to win or we're going to win. And, it's different in NASCAR, where there's teams, on Sundays, there's 15, 16 different organizations that, that are really trying hard. And there's, 36, 38 cars that are trying to win and trying to beat you. And, that's the highest level of motorsports, and people's livelihoods are dependent on it, and people's, everybody just gets after it. So, it is extremely competitive, which is what makes it compelling. And, I said, even getting into the Xfinity Series, 9 years ago, it's like, all right, how do we win? Let's try to figure this thing out. So, Chris Rice and myself and, everybody, all the men and women at Kaulig Racing, we've always taken that attitude about, hey, we can do this. I think we could play with the big boys and win with the right strategies and with the right people and the right attitude. And so, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, it's extremely competitive and it keeps getting more competitive, each and every week.
So, Matt, you guys, like everybody else in NASCAR, I think I don't want to take anything away from any stick and ball people, but when it comes to giving back to the community, I really feel NASCAR goes head and shoulders above the rest. And you guys have a very simple name for your program, Kaulig Giving. I love that. It's right to the point. What do you guys got going on there right now?
Well, I mean, this week or the next couple of weeks, and right now we're celebrating, we're working hard with the NASCAR Foundation. So, like you said, NASCAR does as good a job as any other league, sports leagues that there are. And, the NASCAR Foundation, we've got the Speedy Bear Brigade, coming up here on September 9th. You know how they have, on the calendar, you've always got like National Pretzel Day or National Pizza Day or National Pet Your Dog Day. It's National Teddy Bear Day on September 9th. And so to celebrate that, we are giving away, we're giving away and taking 5,000 teddy bears, to 110 hospitals, children's hospitals, throughout the country. So we've got a lot of people involved. We're really involved here. And I'm sitting in Northeast Ohio. So at our Akron Children's Hospital, we've got a big deal where we're giving a bunch of teddy bears away to these kids. And, it's not only the Speedy Bear and the teddy bears, but we give a whole box full of, there's coloring books and crayons and Jenga sets and playing cards and, just whatever we could do to brighten the spirits of these kids. I mean, anybody that's in a hospital doesn't want to be there, and especially kids, especially right here in the summertime. I mean, they don't want to be in the hospital, whether they're sick or injured or whatever they're in there for. So we're trying to do things that are brightening the spirits. And it really does. I mean, we've been doing this for this is our 8th year with the NASCAR Foundation, giving away these teddy bears. And when you walk into the room and give these kids something and give them a teddy bear, I mean, they really appreciate that. And it puts a smile on their face. And it's just a really great thing that we do. I know all of our drivers are involved in going to various hospitals in North Carolina and South Carolina. And, it's just, I'm really proud of everybody for that. And I'm really proud of the NASCAR Foundation for putting on such a great program.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate what you do for the community and also what you guys have meant to the world of racing, man. Keep up the good work. Keep up the trophy hunting. And again, thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man.
Right after Ward Burton won the Daytona 500, we were shooting a TV commercial in South Boston, and when I drove up there, I brought one of my doggies with me, and we had him in the cab of the car, and he's a tiny little dog. But in Ward Burton's love for animals, and in a way only Ward can say it, what he didn't know was I had the windows down, and I had a big bowl of ice water there for the doggie. But Ward was kind of worried about the dog. He was looking over at him, wanted to make sure he was okay. So Ward turned to me and said, "Hey, JR, after this next take, you better go check on Killer." So he dubbed my dog Killer because he was about this big, but only Ward Burton could say it. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Lights Out with Johnny Roberts. Glad you came along for the ride. Another one is coming your way shortly.